up, Mr. Renzo?
Nah, don't what's up, Mr. Renzo to me. I just sent you a picture. I don't know what the hell kind of fertilizer you use, but it got my grass out of control. This is unacceptable. Somebody needs to come out and cut my grass between today and tomorrow.
Well, since you're a bi-weekly customer, you're not scheduled till next week. We all booked up for the rest of this week.
Nah, someone need to come out soon. Ezel walking around my yard looking in my windows, and Rollo out here stretched out in my front yard like don't nobody live here.
Who is Ezel and Rollo?
Exactly. They just walking around and don't nobody live here. You think you slick. I know what you did. You mixed that chicken poop and that fertilizer and made my grass all out of control, didn't you?
Chicken poop? Well, according to the yearly maintenance schedule, we ask all customers to give us a week or two advance notice for all special visits. The best I can do is early next
between
week.
my medicinal and not me not having my glasses at the time, I might have overlooked it. I don't recall that.
I'll see you next week. Hello, it's Raglan, a Next Generation Landscaping. As you see here, this is one of our bi-weekly customers. The grass got out of control. That's just what it is when you do a lot of fertilization and weed control, you know, in the springtime. You know, before we get into it though, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, you know, give it a big thumbs up. All feedback is good feedback in my opinion, you know, and help out the channel a little bit. But like I stated before, this is a bi-weekly customer. I have more weekly customers than I do bi-weekly customers because, you know, let's just be honest, bi-weeklies take a lot more time, you know, in the springtime when you're getting all this rain. Grass, you know, as you see here, it jumps out of control when you're doing the proper treatments, when you're getting the necessary watering that it needs to get and things of that nature. But you know, I do this customer as a bi-weekly because she gives us, you know, the full season treatment. We're able to have the go ahead and do the fertilizations. We have the okay to do the aerations. We have to, you know, do the detachings. We have the okay to go ahead and do the pruning. We have the okay to do the mulching. We have the okay, you know, whatever needs to be done to the property. We will go and I will, you know, send them an email. Hey, this is what you know, this is what needs to be done. I want to do this the next time we come out to the visit. 9 times out of 10, it's a go, you know, with this customer here. So, you know, I don't mind doing this on a bi-weekly basis because they're, you know, keeping us busy and they have faith in us to get their property looking like it's supposed to be looked. Now, I do recommend to all, with the ones that, like this customer that does the full service treatment, I do not, you know, I'll tell them, hey, you can go weekly, you know, bi-weekly, you know, it's totally up to you, but they still want to do the bi-weekly, hey, I just charge them a bi-weekly rate. But to the ones that I tell them, hey, I think you should go bi-weekly, but they get somebody else to do the, you know, the fertilization, they get somebody else to do the aerating, they get somebody else to do the pruning and things of that nature, and they still want to go on a bi-weekly rate, then they will have to get charged the weekly rate. Just so, you know, the company doesn't lose out on money. You know, it is what it is. I hate to, you know, do it like that, but, you know, it is what it is. So if they're, you know, will be paying $180 for every week, they will be paying $180 for every 2 weeks. That's just what it is, because we'll have to take more time to double cut the yards in the spring, making sure no clumps are left in the grass, making sure no clippings are blown in the beds. You know, it's going to take a extra time for us to edge because, you know, of the grass growing and it's overlapping on the sidewalks and stuff like that. So yes, if we're not doing the full service treatment, far as wise Like I stated before, yes, your weekly visit will be, your bi-weekly, visit will equal to a weekly visit, because, if we got, equipment to pay for, if we have employees to pay, if we have, insurances, upkeep, things of that nature, we can't afford to lose out on any type of money, things of that nature. And let's just be honest and let's just keep it real. Versus weekly and bi-weekly, yes, doing a bi-weekly cut, you will be losing out on money. Whereas though, weekly, you charge $160, for a month, for weekly customers, you might wind up only charging, $140, you know what I mean, or $150. For a bi-weekly. So, and let's just be honest, that, $30, $40 a month, that adds up. That's gas. That's the cost of gas. That's the cost of, maybe, you may need to get some oil, that you may need to get, filters, spark plugs, or however it may be. So that really adds up to the cost. And in the business, let's just be honest, it's just a lot of wear and tear on your tools. I mean, it's just a lot of wear and tear on your tools, to the point of you going there, whereas though weekly, you're in and out of there in maybe about 30 minutes, you're good to go, or however it may be, and you're charging, X amount of dollars. Whereas though you'll come and the grass is like this or higher, and for what, $60, $70, $70 or something like that. Nah, it's a lot of wear and tear on your tools. It takes more time. Whereas though, you're getting, with you and your employees, you're getting somewhere around, 15, to 20 properties done a day, with this, double cutting and the grass real high, and for the bi-weekly scheduled in one day, you may turn around and get 10 to 12 done, you know what I mean, or 13 done, depending on, how big the properties are, but that's just, my take on it. I rather do, weeklies than bi-weekly cuts. I mean, that's just what it is. I just try to save my tools. I just try to save, the employees or whoever's helping me, throughout the, the season, or however it may be. It's just, a lot of wear and tear, and then, the ones that go bi-weekly, and you try to explain to them that, hey, you need to go weekly, and they still want to go bi-weekly, but when the grass gets out of control, like you see here, and they'll call you and they'll say, hey, I need my grass cut. My grass is out of control. I need to cut this week and this and that, however it may be. Wait a minute. I explained to you, this and that, or however it may be, but now you want us to go on a weekly service, and you want me to stop doing what I'm doing just to come service your property when I got other people already scheduled for this week. No, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? And I have a, yearly maintenance schedule that I send out. I have a letter that I send out every year, and it states all stipulations, as far as wise, if you need a special visit for, your property, if you, whether, if the grass is just too tall, or, you just see it that it needs to be cut, or if you got family members coming in, or you having a special event, or something like that, hey, we just require, a week or two notice, just so we can plan to get you on a schedule, so you'll be taken care of for, whatever the occasion may be. Like I said before, maybe it's just, you see it just getting tall and you want it, an extra visit or something like that, but you don't want to go on a weekly service, but you want to, hey, I get it, I grant it, hey, it is what it is, and things happen that way, and we accommodate, all our customers that way. If you have, having something and you want, just please, give us a week or two notice, so we can plan for these things. Doing it on the last moment, meaning, you know, we'll have to drop people that's already scheduled for that week just to come service your property when we already discussed this. Now, it doesn't work that way, you know. And if you can't understand that, hey, there's nothing I can do. That's just, you know, the nature, you know, of me. And then they'll come back and they'll say, hey, you know, okay, I understand about the weekly thing, but, you know, what if in the summertime it stops growing and it doesn't need to be cut every week? And let's just be honest, sometimes it happens that way. But if you're doing, you know, your weed treatments, if you're doing your fertilization treatments like you're supposed to, if you're doing your proper watering like you're supposed to, and this and that, the third, it's going to need to be cut. That's if you're doing everything that you're supposed to do within your cycle of the lawn care. It's going to need to be cut. Not to say it's going to look like this. Not to say, you know, when it comes down to, you know, July, August, September, you know, October, it's going to look like this. No, no, you know what I mean? It's, you know, now when you get down to seeding in the fall and stuff like that, and we get rain or something like that, hey, that's something different. But I'm just talking about, you know, for the dry months, maybe like August, maybe, you know, July, or, you know, maybe even October or something like that. You know what I mean? You know, it'll need cutting, but it won't look like this. You know what I mean? So, you know, it will need a weekly treatment. But if you're not, and let me emphasize this, if you're not getting, you know, the proper fertilizations, the weed treatments, if you're not getting if you're not doing the proper watering for your property, yes, you will be browned out. You know what I mean? Yes, it will be dead and this and that, how it may be. So for those customers that say that, and I know that, you know, their property is going to be like that, I will tell them, yes, you know, hey, this is the weekly, you know, thing, or however it may be. So what we'll do is, say for instance, we charge, you know, $85 to come cut, and this and that, how it may be. Hey, you know, let's just say, quote unquote, sir, you know, this is not her name. I wouldn't throw her name out there like that or nothing like that. Hey, sir, this crepe myrtle right here, you know, it has some lower limbs that need to be snipped. We can go ahead, snip the bottom of them for you, just to neaten it up a little bit for, you know, a regular visit. You know what I mean? Just for a regular lawn visit, to tighten it up. Hey, you know, we see that, you know, the yard doesn't need to be cut this week. So what we're going to do is, the bushes in the front, we're going to tighten up, you know, a couple of bushes in the front, just to, you know, make it good for an even cut, because we understand that the grass doesn't need to be cut. So whereas though we come to the yard and we say, hey, yeah, we really do see it doesn't need to be cut, you know. So to be, you know, a fair lawn, you know, lawn care company, / landscaping company, we will, you know, do some, you know, instead of doing the grass, because we know that, you know, it doesn't need to be cut. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be cut, you know. So we will go ahead and we will spend time, you know, weeding out your beds for, you know, whatever the cost of the lawn is. Like I said before, $85. We'll do $85 for weeding. It doesn't need to be, you know, cut, but we will go ahead, string trim around the property, and we'll go ahead and pull some weeds. We may go ahead, snip a couple limbs off the tree or something like that, you know, on the strip, so, you know, people can walk by, or, you know, when we cutting, you know, we'll easily be able to get up under there or something like that. But it's always something you can do in a customer's property other than cut. Because let's just be honest, you know, we have some customers that go bi-weekly and they really don't, you know, they just want the grass cut and that's it. You know, they don't want to do the fertilization, they don't want to do the aeration, they just want the grass cut and keep it moving. They don't care about the weed control, they don't care about, they just want the grass cut, edge trimmed, and keep it moving. And let's be honest, you will run across those customers that that just don't want none of that, And let's just make this perfectly clear. Let's just make it perfectly clear that those will also be the customers that will cut you off when the grass doesn't need to be cut. Those are also the customers that will call you and say, hey, the grass doesn't need to be cut this week. I'll see you on the next scheduled visit. Now, if they're a bi-weekly customer, that means you went 2 weeks without cutting it, and then they want you to go another 2 weeks, which is a whole month. So you're missing out on a whole month of revenue from this customer that you could have been making somewhere else, or you could have been making on a property. And granted, you could say, hey, I understand that the grass doesn't need to be cut, but we can come there and we can do this, we can do that, just in place of a visit. Just so, we won't, lose out on money, just so, we can have your property tidy, things of that nature, and they will come back and they will say, no, we're fine, we will skip out and this and that or whatever. Try to avoid those customers. Try to avoid those customers, or lay the ground rules down. Hey, if you don't want your grass cut and we miss 2 weeks and you don't want us to come back until the next 2 weeks, there will be an extra charge, there, or however it may be. That's why sometimes I will go ahead and be like, hey, it's you will be charged a weekly rate, because it's going to take us more time. We got, things of that nature, because I know it's going to be at a point in time with this customer that she, when the summertime hits, they're going to say no. But I get it, this and that, as, lawn care, I understand that, the landscape and the lawn care doesn't become a top priority on the bills list. Let's just be honest. The lawn care, the landscapers are the last to get paid. Let's just be honest. Let's just keep it real with this. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. If it comes down to, your mortgage, your water bill, your car insurances, your car notes, your kids' tuition, if you're coming to, just anything in general that has to do with everyday life, the lawn care, the landscape are the last on the totem pole to get thought about or get, a payment. I mean, I get that, I understand that, and this and that, but try to avoid those customers, because I'll tell them in a minute, this is our livelihood. This is how we provide for our families. This is, what we do, and this and that. This is, the rate, because if your job did the same thing, it would, be, the shoe would be on the other foot. But try to avoid those customers, because this is your livelihood. You have a business to run. You have to, make money, because let's just be honest, for some of you, October, for some of you, November, and if you're anything like me, maybe like 2 weeks before Christmas, in December, where things slow down, leaves stop, final cleanup stop, and stuff like that. So, we're just, doing odds and end jobs, around the house, or, doing odds and end jobs, for customers that call or something like that. So we, and by being seasonal, we have to make what we can, and you can't make anything if a customer just outright wants to cut you off, or they want you to come when they want you to come, and this and that. So have it, stated out in writing beforehand, and before you pick. And I understand that you try to get the customer to try to make the money, to keep, working, to get, I totally understand that. But in the long run haul, you'll be losing out on money. You know, whereas though that customer is ready to cut you off, there's always another customer that's willing to pay for your service. That's just me. That's just the way, you know, I go about it. Leave a comment below. What's your guys' take on this? You know, are you willing to stick around with the customers that will cut you off, or, you know, don't want the full service and this and that? Or do you like to do bi-weeklies, you know, just to keep busy and this and that? And like I said, you know, I do the bi-weeklies for the customers that get the full service. You know, if you don't get the full service and you just want us to come on a bi-weekly basis and this and that, yes, you're just going to get charged a weekly rate. That's just, you know, what it is with me, you know. And have it stated in writing, you know, when you know, get to your customers and stuff like that, that you need advance notice to do your scheduling if you want a special visit. No matter what it's for, if you just want it because the grass is getting high, if you want it just because, you know, just cause, or, you know, it's the holidays and you want it looking right, or if, you know, you got people coming in town, you know, hey, I understand that. I get that. People want their property looking good. Just, you know, give advance notice when it's time to do that. That's all. All right. So I hope this was, you know, useful for you. Stick around for the after effect, you know, of how this property looked. It turned out, you know, it turned out real good. We had to come back and do some reseeding because, as you see, we did put the weed control down, and it killed out most of those weeds, which left, you know, bare spots like right there. So, and going down there, you know, with those weeds and stuff like that. So we're coming in to do some reseeding for them to get the grass to grow, you know, back there. Okay. So I hope this was useful for you. I hope you can use this. Leave a comment, you know, if there's anything I missed, or, you know, if you guys have some input on this. Leave a comment. You know, all feedback is good feedback, you know, and if you're anything like me, you know, you don't know everything, you're always willing to grow. Okay. This is Raglan coming from Next Generation Landscaping. Keep persevering by any means necessary. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment. All right. And until the next time, see ya.